just like that, I was directing a documentary. But what do I know about directing? I hadn't directed a thing in my life. Sure, I filmed and edited, produced, interviewed, all that stuff. The down and dirty stuff, but directing, that was something different.
Music is Magic was the combined ability of countless musicians, artists, bronies, actors, writers. Music is Magic was more than just about music. It was about a culture that is cultivated from an amazing TV show that united, right now, millions of people.
And so, thanks to crowdfunding, thanks to Kickstarter, we now get to tell our success story. A couple of young students with almost no money to their name got to challenge themselves in making something neat, and thanks to some 36 generous people, actually ended up making something neat. It's one of thousands of success stories, big and small, but that amount of success is a two-edged sword. It romanticizes and sensationalizes the concept of crowdfunding to the point that the popular belief becomes that all you have to do is set up a Kickstarter and people will automatically give you money. This is simply not the case. If you've set up a Kickstarter and you're watching days tick by with little or no money coming in, this video may be able to help you. We'll discuss what we did to make our Music is Magic documentary Kickstarter succeed, as well as the Devil's Pool Kickstarter, a project to make a graphic novel with an art style rivaling The Walking Dead. Each project is different. It's easy for your voice to get drowned out among the thousands of voices pleading for a chance to create something amazing. There's no one simple answer to getting your message out there. You'll have to figure out most of it for yourself. But with a couple of real-life examples of what did work and what didn't work, we hope that you'll have a better idea of how to rise above the crowd and get noticed.
You are taking a pebble and you're throwing it into a beachfront of pebbles, and you have to figure out what's going to keep the people walking past that beachfront looking at your pebble, so we had to have a plan to be able to get the people into our Kickstarter campaign to really kind of get it on the radar.
This is The Devil's Pool, Arc Vindicta's first successful project. It's a graphic novel based in the Ozark Mountains of Missouri and in the ancient legends born there. The main protagonist, Benton Carver, finds himself on the wrong end of a close-knit band of corrupt, small-town county officials. At the end of issue 0, he is cast into the Devil's Pool, an endless sinkhole of local legend, and will supposedly discover a fantastical destiny rather than an untimely death. The graphic novel employs a unique art style born of actual photo shoots that are produced as if the models are instead actors on a movie set. Arc Vindicta successfully raised over $8,500 just to print issue 0. How did they do it?
The best thing to do in our case was to focus on our strengths. We had groups of people that we knew that we could call up on the phone and we could say, hey, I need you to go to my Kickstarter campaign and I need you to support us. And whether you're supporting us at $1 or you're supporting us at $50 or whatever it is, I need you there. And I need your number to be counted along with everybody else.
Facebook was kind of a big deal, and just word of mouth. I mean, I would tell people about this, hey, I'm working on this project, and it's like Ozark history mixed with some fantasy, and people were like, oh, that sounds cool. Like, a lot of younger people were like, that's awesome, I want to get more involved, because we all like a good comic book. We
were able to give literally hourly updates to our peril at some point, of what was going on. And I like to call it building an army. The key is to get people supporting you in a way that they believe, the way they believe they're part of your army. So that once they've supported you, now you say, thank you so much for your support. Now here's what we need from you. And some people are like, I already gave you my $1. I'm not going to do anymore. But most people were like, that's awesome. What can I do to help?
He would post something and I would just share it. So he's like sharing with all the friends on the Devil's Pool page, and then me sharing it, that gets all of my 200, 300, 400 friends to see it. They're like, oh, awesome artwork, what's that?
It's really important to make sure that the network that you're building is extremely vital and thriving and growing, and the connections that you make, especially in social media and technology, the people that you branch to and the people that you that you connect with are viable connections. You're building a community, and a lot of times people don't realize that.
Ask anyone what their favorite social network sites are, and the likely answer will be Facebook and Twitter. But so many other modern websites now function just like social networks in ways similar to these two sites, and in fact, can often even work better when it comes to marketing a Kickstarter. You'll just need to figure out which sites you're most familiar with and how to make them best work for you. Now let's give you some examples from the Music is Magic campaign.
If you can't get your project out there to people that have an audience themselves, you will fail. It is impossible to get a project off the ground if you're just targeting single-digit demographics. You want to go after the big dogs. You want to go after somebody who has a humongous following. So when they say something, those guys listen. That's why I went after Mando Pony. Mando Pony right now has almost 1 million followers. When I contacted him, I knew that he could post that on just his Twitter or his YouTube account as a comment, and people would flock in the hundreds to the possible thousands to our Kickstarter.
While Tim was making friends with the big dogs in the Brony community, I was contacting popular Brony artists on DeviantArt. One of the key characteristics about our target demographic is the avid fan art following, and at the center of it all is the social media art website deviantart.com. People can commission pieces of artwork from artists, which then get posted on the artist's page for all to see. I approached one such artist, Veggie55, and offered him $35 for a short comic strip promoting our Kickstarter. I picked Veggie because of his popularity. As of last July, the young Irish comic strip artist had over 20,000 watchers on DeviantArt. Once the comic went online, the donations really started to come in. While the key to bringing donations into your project may not necessarily lie in DeviantArt, you do need to identify the strengths of your target demographic. Marketing your Kickstarter goes far beyond making a post on Facebook, as you can see. A little creative marketing strategy will always increase your chances of success. You will also need to identify your own strengths.
Most people miss the mark when they don't identify their strengths. You know, if your strength is music and your strength is communicating with people through music, then don't try to write a biography about yourself. You know, communicate to those people through music. You know, our strength was our artwork, and what we put out was the art. And there was a lot of words in there, but it was supported by the art. They can see your weakness, and they don't trust it. You know, if you show them your strength and you say, this is my passion and this is what I've always wanted to do, and all I want is to be able to share this with you. And if you want me to share it with you, this is how you can do that. You know, people respond to that.
Okay, now that you have a general idea of where to start, let's talk about some common mistakes you can avoid. Number 1, Kickstarter and many other crowdfunding websites function like Facebook. You're going to get questions and comments from people, and you have to respond to each of them. Don't ignore the crowd trying to get your attention. The worst thing you can do is ignore them. Number 2, during your Kickstarter, you'll probably be contacted by marketing companies offering to, quote, blast your campaign over their channels for a small fee. Don't give them your cash. No one is more passionate and informed about your project than you. These companies have no idea how to relate to your target demographic and have no obligation to make sure people check you out. Don't pay someone to do your social networking for you when you will always do it better. Number 3, don't give up. Kickstarter donations often come in erratically and sometimes at the last minute. Don't cancel your campaign out of frustration or discouragement. If you fail, at least people will see you stuck it out to the end. And don't quit on the concept just because it didn't work out the first time. Re-examine your strategies and come back with a brand new plan. You will make it work eventually.
You have to learn from each process, and then you have to get up and you do it again, and you will succeed eventually. You know, eventually you will come out the other end going, I did it.